I've been a bit of a salty butthole with Detective Pikachu. I did not think this movie looked good from the trailers, I'm sorry. The cinematography was drab and
ugly.
The main character seemed like he couldn't act his way out of a paper bag. Ryan Reynolds was weird as a talking Pikachu, and not in a fun Danny DeVito way. Mr. Mime looked horrifying, and yeah, it looked bad. Then I saw the Sonic trailer.
Meow?
Long story short, I was wrong. Detective Pikachu is a good-ass movie. I really liked it. I mean that. This is a movie that treats the source material with such care and such respect that it's nothing short of magical seeing this Pokemon-infused world come to life. The effects are fantastic. There's like 1 or 2 shots that looked kind of fake, but it's okay. Infinity War had Floating Head Bruce, and Endgame had any scene with Captain Marvel, so that's fine. Speaking of which, yeah, this is not a Shafe Shorty, because I legitimately have more to say about this movie than Avengers Endgame. Yep, I don't get it either. This movie has a lot of great references for fans here and there, but the great thing about it is that the story is very focused and self-contained. With the entire Pokemon library to work with, you could have just thrown everything into this movie. Bring in every legendary Pokemon ever for an epic world-ending battle. Have Arceus descend from the heavens and fight Klefki. I don't know. I guess since this is a live action movie, you probably can't do all this crazy legendary stuff because of budget reasons, but that's good. The story remains focused on just a couple of characters in Pokemon, which really helps ground it and make it relatable. I like Justice Smith in this role after actually giving him a chance. He does a great job at balancing heartfelt scenes and comedy. Ryan Reynolds is great too, though I feel like he kinda has no off switch. He just keeps quipping in the middle of exposition scenes, and the pace doesn't really slow down for his quips, so it can be hard to follow the dialogue in these scenes. I know Tim is the only human who understands him, so that's why he talks over people, but still, silence is golden sometimes. Catherine Newton is really good. I wish there was more development and screen time for her character. The villains are unapologetically hammy, and that's fantastic. The scene with Mr. Mime was great. Honestly, I don't think there was a single scene I disliked. The movie has solid emotional beats and decent jokes. There's nothing phenomenal in those departments, but I'm glad the movie even attempted quiet character moments. It's really nice. There are some plot twists and twist villains that an 8-year-old could see coming, but that's part of the cheesy fun and pretty accurate to the source material. It didn't bother me like some other movies, but with that said, I feel like I need to get into spoilers to sufficiently give my thoughts on the villain and the entire third act. Spoiler warning, here we go. 3, 2, 1, Piplups. First of all, real quick, there was one hilarious scene where Tim jumped off a pretty steep cliff and landed on the ground without breaking any bones, but then Pikachu gets hit by a pebble and suddenly he's like near death. That was hysterical. Anyway though, so I was enjoying this movie at first, but then we get to the third act. And let me tell you, this third act is so bonkers and so absurd that I went from liking this movie to loving it. So the villain is this rich old guy who's crippled and wants to evolve like a Pokemon. To do this, he extracts this substance from Mewtwo that turns Pokemon feral. He then wants to put himself in Mewtwo's body and use Mewtwo's powers to fuse everyone with their Pokemon. Apparently, this can only be done when the Pokemon are under the influence of Mewtwo's gases. So he plants the gas inside a bunch of Pokemon balloons during a parade, unleashes them, then proceeds to turn everyone in the city into Pokemon. What? Also, it turns out his son the whole time was a Ditto, and then Ditto proceeds to beat the crap out of Tim while Pikachu fights Mewtwo with his booming old man voice. It's insane. This is exactly the kind of ridiculous plot I want from a Pokemon movie. The whole time this villain was explaining how much he wanted to evolve humanity by turning them into random Pokemon. I just thought of that comic book panel. You know the one. I'm pretty sure at one point his son or somebody actually tells him that he could cure cancer with his technology, so they definitely knew what they were doing here. But I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into Pokemon. Just incredible. I'm pretty sure turning people into some lame-ass Pokemon like Klefki or Trubbish is very well appreciated. In fact, here are the top 15 Pokemon you don't want to get turned into. Number 15. Leaveney Foot Lettuce. The last thing you want in your Pokemon movie is to get turned into a Leaveney Foot Lettuce. But that's exactly what you might get. Imagine being Spoink If you stop bouncing, your heart will stop. This is the next step in human evolution, people. Oh, and then there was a scene where he was upset that Tim's dad was like looking into the whole thing, and he said he just had to keep asking questions. That was his mistake. Oh my god, just beautiful. I'm so happy this movie lost its mind to this extent because I just had so much fun thinking about it. That's the big takeaway in the end. I had fun, and that's all I wanted from Detective Pikachu. I felt a lot like the main character, kind of rediscovering my love for Pokemon as the story progressed. I loved it as a kid, but now it's one of the few Nintendo franchises I don't really get super excited over. I mean, it's better than Star Fox, but yeah, it's kind of telling what my favorite Pokemon product in the past 6 years is Pokemon Go.
Pokemon go to the polls.
That will never get old. But yeah, this was kind of a magical rediscovery of what makes Pokemon so compelling. I don't expect non-fans to really get that invested in this movie, and quite frankly, I'm impressed it's doing as well as it is with critics. But this is just one of those movies where critical opinion doesn't really matter. My critical opinion is that it's good. 7 out of 10, fun watch that I'd gladly see again. But I think what's more important here is that as a Pokemon fan, this movie gets it. If you are a fan of Pokemon at all, definitely don't miss this movie. I don't think you'll regret it. Turns out all you needed to make a good video game movie was actually liking the source material. Who knew? Congrats, Rob Letterman. You made a good movie and your sin of co-directing Shark Tale has been redeemed. So to the other directors of Shark Tale, Vicky Jensen, Bilbo Baggins, Mung Dahl, ball's in your court now.